How many times you walked into a meeting room and the video conferencing capabilities in there just suck? They do not work. Well, guess what? Our strategy here, I'll talk it through in this particular video, shows you exactly how to fix that problem. This is how you set up a meeting room. Let's rewind. I'll tell you exactly how we got to here. Right, I've seen this scenario play out more times than I care to imagine, right? And doing this company, with this company, I've had it, we run it for about 8 years now, been in the industry 10 years. I cannot tell you how many times I've walked into meeting rooms and I've gone, what the bloody hell has been installed here? And the clients looked at me and gone, Chris,
help me! Help me!
We brought in an AV integrator, one-man band, Gary in a van, let's call him, and now we just can't get hold of him. He doesn't have the capabilities to give us ongoing support. He installed a bunch of this kit because he had a nice, he had a nice agreement with the supplier. None of it works. It's an absolute pain in the backside. Honestly, I cannot tell you how many times that's happened, and you'd be surprised the caliber of client that has happened to as well. Really big named clients, huge logos, and I've walked in and been shocked by it. So this is the video here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can fix the deployment of meeting room technology solutions, right? Why it's gone wrong and how you can fix the deployment. Here's the thing, right? Let me show you really quickly how this works. So you've got a new office move coming up, right? In that new office move, everyone is really excited. You have this funnel basically going on and everyone's really excited about the office move because you're going to go to a nice new space. It's going to smell really nice. You're going to smell the fresh paint. Everyone's buzzing and everyone's really excited. The first stage of that office move is what is essentially the strategy, right? The strategy is you pay for really expensive consultants to talk to you about what type of office you need to have, how the flow needs to happen, whether you need open spaces, whether you need, natural areas. They do heat mapping on particular areas within the space. They do heat mapping on commuting time. All of this stuff is all at the strategic level, and that's what you pay really good consultants to come up with the strategy of your workplace. We don't do that. Spore are not the strategy guys. There are some very, very good people that do this. Sam Sarni in particular is one person. I had him on the podcast previously. Sam Sarni does the strategy piece, the high level stuff, which talks about what type of workplace you need to have. Now, once Sam and the strategy guys have done their particular piece of work, you then have an element down here which then breaks into all sorts of different pieces. So once Sam says, right, well, now we've got the strategy, he then goes, well, what fits within that strategy? And what I mean by what fits, he's talking about what furniture fits. What's the furnishings like? What's the look and feel like? What about the branding of the space? What about the colors of the space? What about the technology piece? So under strategy, you have loads of different pillars that all form part of that particular strategy. We look after this piece, right? We look after this piece. So the strategy is determined by the consultants and your high level team and your workplace and your real estate team. We then go, well, okay, well, what technology needs to be in place in order to drive the strategy that you've decided is going to be happening at this level here. Once you've determined the technology, that's when you're designing it essentially. This here is you're designing the technology solution, which drives this. So this is driven by the strategy. Once you've determined what the technology is, what you then need to understand is, okay, I know what technology I need to deploy because that's the technology that we've determined is going to fit our strategy. How do I implement it? Again, it's all good and well having nice designs and everyone's written, the drawings look pretty and everyone's all happy. If you've got a nice design of technology, that's great. But if you haven't got a plan to actually implement it, that's where you're going to start failing. So the implementation is your Gary in a van scenario, which I referred to earlier. Your implementation is absolutely crucial to ensure that this all works. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to say, right? This is our little, this is my little moment which people start kicking off about in the comments.
If you want some, I'll give it you. You want to do it, mate?
It doesn't matter what strategy you have. You can have a 3-day work week. You can have a fully remote work team. You can have everybody back in the office. It does not matter. So the strategy piece has all been put together by really intelligent people, but it does not matter what strategy you choose. If you implement it incorrectly, the strategy fails. So that's why all of this piece needs to work in tandem to ensure that your strategy piece, the bit that you spent an awful lot of money on at the start, actually works. And here's the other thing, right? People do this, right? They spend so much money here making sure that everything's right. And as you get down to this bit here, the money starts dwindling, so you spend a little bit less. And then when they get down to the final bit here, when you're starting to tender for the right people to come and actually implement these solutions, all of a sudden,
I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left.
you're sat there going, well, we haven't got budget, we haven't got budget, we haven't got budget. And all of these great decisions that you've made up here all fall flat on their face because you've got the implementation strategy wrong. Let me fix that. So what we do at SPOR, we deploy what we call the DITAM model, right? And I'm going to explain exactly what this means here. So the DITAM model is specifically designed to fix this problem, right?
He's a hero. That's right. He saved my life.
DITAM. What does DITAM stand for? Getting mixed up with my bloody pens here. Right, here's what DITAM stands for. D, design, right? Design. Design sits in the technology bracket here. We work with you to design the solution which fits directly into your strategy. We know what the market is, we understand what the functionality requirements are of you, the client, and then we design a solution based on your functionality requirements, not based on what the latest tech trend is, but works with specifically with the strategy that you've already determined at the top end. I is then the integrate. We integrate the whole solution with our integration team, our project delivery team, following specific guidelines around our project delivery methodology. Very, very clear task-orientated delivery of it. We integrate the whole lot. Again, this is the implement bit, right? But underneath the implement bit, it's all good and well, us hanging a few screens on a wall, giving you a few cameras that you obviously sync up to Microsoft Teams, but none of that matters if you have not done this bit. We provide training for all of our clients. If your office manager, who is 5 years out from retirement, if your office manager can't use a boardroom with a single press of a button because the technology looks too complicated, then we failed. So we integrate everything, we understand exactly how it all fits together, we fit it all, and then importantly, we provide training for all of your users, your important users, to ensure that they know exactly how those rooms work. Again, it's no good having the office manager who's 5 years out from retirement not able to use those systems because you've lost the user at that point. Here's where it starts getting interesting now though. Gary in a van can do that stuff, right? Gary, which is what happens all the time. Gary in a van, Gary's not real by the way, I just made that name up.
Are you kidding me?
But Gary in a van can buy a bunch of kit, hang it on the wall, great, everyone's happy, we've got a meeting room, but then Gary disappears. This is where it starts getting interesting now. So what we do is the A is asset manage, right? We onboard all of these devices, we onboard onto our asset management platform. The platform's called SportTrack. You can see some information on SportTrack in the link below. We are doing proof of concepts, by the way, on SportTrack. So check out the link below. I'll give you some information on it. If you want a proof of concept, click on the link and we'll have a conversation around delivering a proof of concept for you. We manage every single asset that we put onto your estate. Why is that important? Because if you don't manage the asset warranty statuses, what will happen in a year's time when the room stops working is you'll realize the screen's not working, for example. You'll raise a ticket to the help desk of your integrator, and then they will then go, right, we'll go in, try and fix the issue, realize the screen's out of warranty, and then the room's offline for 3 weeks whilst you try and source a new screen, new labor. You're $5,000 in the hole because you haven't managed the warranty. Us onboarding that onto our SportTrack platform, we give you a QBR, quarterly business review, and every quarter we sit down with you and we say, did you know these assets are due to expire in the next 12 months? Let's have a conversation around a succession plan, as opposed to no asset management where you only realize the thing's out of warranty when the thing breaks in the first place. And then the final piece, then this is where we really take things up a step. So this is called monitoring. Now, the important part about the monitoring piece is that we are monitoring proactively. So we proactively monitor and manage all of the devices that we put on the network. Why is this important? 9:58 Monday morning, you walk into a meeting, your boardroom, you walk into the boardroom, your CEO's there, your client's on the other line, you've got 12 people sat in a meeting. 9:58, meeting starts at 10 o'clock. You press start on that meeting and the camera's not working. What happens? You've got 2 minutes to find a new room. You've got 2 minutes to move all 12 people out of that meeting room. You've got 2 minutes to send a new link to the remote participants. Everyone's running around with their head on fire because you only realise that the camera's broken 2 minutes before the actual meeting takes place. When we monitor all of those devices, we get a ping to our help desk, which essentially says on a Thursday at 2 a.m, your room's offline, the camera's not working. Our help desk then proactively make interventions to get that camera back online way before your 9:58 meeting room, your 9:58 meeting, thereby avoiding the heads on fire scenario and ensuring that your CEO is happy and you can sleep at night on a Sunday, right? What's not to love? That's it. This is the important part around making sure that your video conferencing setup is done right. Implementation is only a tiny part of it, but without getting the implementation right, we are going as far as to say that you will not get the strategy right, the implementations right. I've written about this whole thing I've written in a book. The book is with the publishers at the moment. I'm waiting on the release date from the publishers. As soon as the publishers tell me a release date, I'll let everybody know when that's being released. The book is called Work Isn't Working. There's a link in the description below to join the waitlist for that particular book. If you join the waitlist, you'll be notified as soon as I get the release date from my publishers, and I'll give you a 20% discount on the purchase price of that book as well. I break all of this down in that particular book. Hope that's helpful. That's how you avoid the scenario of your meeting room setups being wrong. And if you're interested in this sort of stuff, then go check out this video here, because we talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams and how they can be a little bit sneaky from time to time. Go check it out. See you in the next video.